Om. Sairam, everyone.
Sairam.
So in the Sandeha Nivarini, we are at a point where Swami is explaining who we are and how we have to suppress ahamkaram. And I think that was the discussion during the end of last study cycle. Because Swami has given us elaborated clearly various aspects of our human existence. He had identified even the antakaranas. So by being aware of each of them and knowing their function, we will be able to contain and manage them properly. And then Swami goes on to say that by suppressing ahamkaram, we will be able to reach the divine, or who we understand who we really are, that we are the Atman. That was the discussion at the end. So from there, we will continue today. Swami is going on further to explain Sairam. Sairam Sister Kalyani.
Bhakta. So among all these, who is the I? Who is the experiencer of all this? Swami, we have arrived at the right point. You are none among all these. All these exist only as long as the feeling, this body is mine, exists. They are all associated with some activities or vrittis. The Atma, which observes all these vrittis, that is you. The joy and sorrow, the loss and misery, the good and bad of these activities are all related to the body only, and so they are not yours. They will not be yours. You are the Atma. Until this truth is realized, you sleep the sleep of I and mine. In that sleep, dreams appear of loss, misery, sorrow, and joy. The dreams persist only until you awake, and after you wake up, the fear you had while dreaming, the sorrow you experienced, all disappear and are no longer true. Similarly, when delusion is thrown off and you awaken in jnana, you will understand that all this is not you, that you are the Atma.
Sairam Sister. So Swami at last has come to explain to us who we are. I think it's reasonably clear what Swami says, but I think we can still discuss how we apply in our own lives. Swami says the Atma is actually observing all these vrittis. The vritti is basically the various permutation and combination of what goes on in this world. Our thoughts, our actions, these are all emanations or growth or various ways in which the mind extends itself. The vasanas expand and multiply in this world. All this is observed by the Atman. So understand that you are that. And Swami also goes on to say, don't be so taken up by whatever happens in this world because they all relate to this body. They may have some relevance, but they are not you. And I think Swami is again and again saying, and then Swami talks about being awake to that understanding that we are the Atman and getting up from that sleep of thinking that we are the body. And then Swami says everything is dissolved and you realize who you are. So those are the things which Swami is talking about. So I will pause here. If you all can share any thoughts which you have about what Swami has said, it will be appreciated. Sairam. I guess no one is speaking up, taking your time to reel again, I guess. We'll wait for a few seconds.
Sai Ram, what's the true meaning of until this truth is realized? You sleep the sleep of I and mine. The further explanation that is understandable, but why Swami has used the word, or you sleep the sleep of I and mine. Can someone explain to me why Swami has used the you sleep the sleep of I and mine? I want to have that explanation to be clear in my mind. Why Swami has used the word you sleep the sleep of I and mine. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Saira, anyone who would like to share your thoughts, please? Sister Amdi has brought up this why Swami is referring to sleep of I and mine.
Saira, I and mine, I-ness and minus. So this is ignorance. So ignorance, and when we are in sleep only, we get dream. If we don't go to sleep, we don't dream. So Baba is saying that because everything is we are thinking that I am the body. I am attaching myself to the Viruddhis, or body and other extension. But we have to realize we are not this. Nothing is we. So we are Atman. So until we realize that we are the Atman, we are in ignorant sleep. We are in a sleep mode. The sleep is I-ness and minus. So I and mine, in that sleep, we are sleeping. So in that sleep, there comes a dream. So in the dream, we fear and we are happy. Sometimes we are afraid, and so many mental emotions takes place. So when we wake up from that sleep, the sleep of mine and mine, oh my mind. So when we wake up from that sleep, then that all vanishes. The fear vanishes, whatever the scary things and everything is vanishes. Then we become alert. We realize ourselves. So that is because the dream comes in sleep. Baba is comparing that I-ness and minus as a sleep mode, and from that we have to wake up to be in our real self. This is what I can explain. Very difficult to explain, but thank you, Saira.
Saira, brother, Saira. Anyone else? Yes, please.
So, Sairam, brother, still I have that difficult to understand. It's a good explanation brother gave now, but still I need more explanation on the sleep. I and mine is an ego too, but still I didn't understand. I need more explanation on that too, if anyone can explain that one too.
Thank you very much, brother. Sairam, anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please?
Sairam, is there any original speech by Swami, maybe in the Telugu language or something, maybe that may bring the clarity on this one. Sometimes when you translate, the meaning, it would be slightly different, or because of the choice of word by the translator. Maybe if we go to the original Telugu text, maybe that may bring the clarity immediately. Maybe that's my little suggestion. Maybe if that work, we can go to the original text by Swami or the original speech from Swami. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, sister. Anyone else would like to share? So maybe I will share something, because this is asking about what's original Telugu. See, the thing is, this concept of sleep is introduced in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2. There, Sri Krishna Paramatma tells Arjuna, the jnani is awake when others are asleep, and he is awake when others are asleep. So he is asleep when others are awake, and when others are asleep, he is awake. So what Swami says is, because the sleep analogy is a very good analogy for us to understand this Atma principle, and that's why Swami has used it, and Krishna Paramatma also has used. So there is if you take the Gita Vahini, Swami has spoken about it. So the use of the word sleep is not an error in the translation. So what Swami says is, you see, there are animals which go about in the night, but during the day, when everything is awake, everything is the sun, the light, they are sleeping. They are nocturnal. So what they do is they try to forage around them only in the night, not even realizing that the light is capable of giving them a better understanding of what things are. But they get used to it, and they think that's reality and that's life. So that is why during the day they are asleep. That is when one could experience divinity, they are asleep. That is why Swami has used the word sleeping in the sleep of eye and mind, because when we are not opening our eyes to the reality that we are the Atman, we are asleep to that. When we are asleep to that, we are busy in the thoughts of eye and mind. That is why Swami is using it as sleep. So the thing is, in darkness we are awake, which darkness is eye and mind, that we are the body. Light and being awake is knowing that we are the Atman. I think that's why Swami has used. Swami has explained in Gita Vahini clearly. If you read chapter, I think 4 in Gita Vahini, Swami is talking about this. Why there are, I think, a few paragraphs where Swami is talking about sleeping. What is the sleep of ignorance, and that we are asleep when the Atman is awake, Atman is shining. We are awake when Atman is sleeping, or it is not the day time of thought, it is the state. That's what Swami is talking about. I hope that clarifies the use of the word sleep. And also Swami has used, because all of us understand that dream is of no material reality, but we experience. So that is also another analogy which Swami uses, showing us that whatever we experience in this world and think which we are real is because we are asleep and we are dreaming. So because of that, we don't realize that that's not real. Because of that also Swami uses the term sleep, because once you are asleep from the reality of Atman, you are dreaming. And once you dream, you experience a dream and you think that's real, and you are troubled. So I think it's for both these reasons, these two analogies are used. They are used in Bhagavad Gita. Swami has written about it in the Gita Vahini. And many of the Swami's discourse in Gita also tackle this topic. So far, whatever we have read actually is a very layman's representation by Swami of the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, at least certain aspects of Bhagavad Gita. That's what I understand. So I will stop here. If anyone else would like to share something, please go ahead.
Hi Ram. I thought that if one really realized that he is not this body, he is Atman, then there cannot be no feeling of I and mine. So our entire waking state is fully occupied with I and mine in some way or other. So the real awakening is the realization of that we are Atma and not the body, and so that's why I thought Swami is saying that the sleep of I and mine is because the entire waking state is here referred to as sleep, and that is fully occupied with I and mine in some way or other. As long as we don't realize that we are Atma, we cannot get rid of this I and mine feeling. So that is why I thought he's referring to it as sleep of I and mine. Silent.
Sairam, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to say something?
Sairam, brother, because you showed us, you told us a good from Bhagavad Gita. You said no, that Jnani is, when Jnani is awake, we are sleeping. So because we have not come to the state of Jnani, we are sleeping. Even now I am speaking now, I am sleeping because I and mine are there. So when I wake into the real state, this I and mine would have gone. So and also you said while Jnani is awake, we sleep. And also you said another vice versa. What is that, brother? Vice versa. While what is it?
When the Jnani is asleep, we are awake. When the Jnani
The Jnani sleep because he is not affected by this by worldly vriddhis. So Jnani is sleep, but we are awake because we are fully involved in this vriddhis. So that's the thing here. Just wanted to share. Thank you very much.
Swami tells a story, maybe I will share that also. Swami talks about Janaka Maharaja. Janaka Maharaja is the father of Mother Sita, and he was supposed to be a Jnani who ruled Mithila. So he is apparently once during the day, he was very busy and he got tired, so he went to sleep during the day. And in the dream, he's dreamt that he was in a forest, jungle, with a large retinue of people, and he had lost his way and so on. And he was running around looking for food, and he was hungry and thirsty and tired. And when he got somebody gave him some food, and then when he was trying to eat, then some robbers came and snatched it, and and he was crying. He was crying in the dream. Then he wakes up in that, and he finds that he is in the palace, and he had all the comforts, and there was food sitting at the side table and so on. And then he started telling, apparently, is that real or is this real? So he kept on saying he didn't know whether that experience was real or this experience was real, and he went on, and apparently the queens tried to tell him ask him what was the question about, and he was not telling them. He was keeping on saying, "Is that real? Is this real? Is that real? Is this real?" So they brought the ministers. Ministers tried to reason with him. He was not giving any answers. He was just asking this question. Then they had to bring the Raja Guru. When the Guru came and spoke to him, he was still asking the same question. Then the Guru went into meditation and realized what had happened. And then he tells him, neither is that real, nor is this real. You are real, because you are the only one which remained in all the two states of the dream state and the waking state. But both of them are of the same kind. Both are actually asleep. Both are dreams. So, but you are real. Realize that. And apparently that's what Swami tells. So this dream and sleep analogy is used quite a bit in the Vedantic parlance to explain that we are actually dreaming in this day, in this world. Similar to sleep. This is a waking state sleep. Maybe something like a daydreaming. There are people who sit and don't sleep, but our mind has gone on a spree to imagine all sorts of things. So the mind is capable of inflicting this problem to us. So I will stop there. Anyone else has something to say? Otherwise, we will continue reading. I don't know, Sister Ananti, whether you are satisfied. Maybe you should read Gita Vayani chapter 4.
Yes, now it's clear for me, because now I realize from this one, until the truth is realized, you sleep the sleep of eye and mind. Once the truth is realized, you awake from the feeling of eye and mind. Now it's clear. Thank you, Saira. Very clear. Yeah.
Saira, sister.
Saira. I just have, I guess, a further question on the analogy. So Swami is comparing this entire waking world to the dream world. So when we go to sleep, I might have a dream that, has various different people in it, and I may do various things in my dream, but all of that is gone when I wake up. And while I'm dreaming, I don't realize it, but when I wake up, I realize that everything that happened in the dream was kind of just a projection of my own mind, that there weren't any other people, none of those things were real. It was just in my mind. So is it in this, I guess, waking world, if this is all just a dream, similarly, are we all together in this one dream, or are all of you just projections of my own mind?
Very nice question, sister. I will open it up for anyone to comment. So sister's question is, we are all talking here. If this is a dream, is it one person's dream, or are we all together dreaming the same dream? So I will open it up for a discussion. Sairam, anyone can share your thoughts, please.
Saira.
Saira, the consciousness of Atma is only one. So that is why, though it's it looks like so according to the vasanas, every individual soul, so Jivatma experience differently, sometimes differently because of the vasanas and body-mind complex and all that. But because the same Atma resides in all the jivas, not only, so that's why the entire waking world looks same to everyone, though it's dream. I think it's called Ajada or whatever. So I don't know, might explain that. I think that is the explanation for that, Saira.
Sairam Pradisivadas, he was trying to say.
Actually, I think Vimalasan was telling, I didn't clearly get it, but it's similar. but it is not I am only dreaming actually. Everybody is dreaming, and there is Baba Avatar has come, and it is not false actually. What is false is this feeling, the I-ness and the I and mine, and these viriddhis are false. But really the world is true. And Avatar has come, and Avatar is waking up from within the sleep actually. So basically every being is basically when we get rid of these viriddhis, we arrive at our real state. So we cannot simply say that this is totally a dream. But what is dream like is the falsities of I-ness and minus and other so-called other extension. So for me, when I analyze, I am true. Likewise, Vimalesan, when she analyzes, he is true. So everybody is true, but everybody is truth, and everybody is joined at the basic Parabrahman or Sai, whatever it is. So everybody is connected to the basic Brahman, but still we cannot totally say this is a dream. It is a dream, but our basic aspect is not true. That's what I can just share it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, Sairam brother, well, I read something recently. So with Swamis in the room and two students were there, then Swami is going through the letters, whatever he received. So everybody is asking, I want this one, or my she is sick, and I want my student, my son has to pass the exam. Everything they are asking something. So he was thinking, he was talking to by himself. I came all the way that Vaikuntha to teach the people, but they don't understand the value of the divine. They were asking worldly things, and they are doing arati, they are singing and everything. Nobody is prepared to come with me. My plane is outside to take them with me. But everybody is doing arati, everybody wants namaswarana, everybody is doing things. Nobody is understand the self-realization. So the purpose of my teaching, nobody is following. So he was so sad that particular day because of nobody's understand the self-realization. Thank you, brother. So everybody is sleeping. Thank you.
Sairam, sir. Anyone else?
Sairam brother, I just wanted to add to this, please. When I and mine is the way we think. When you do things for yourself, that state, I will say, that is the I and mind state. When the way of thinking is changed to do things for, like doing things for others, satisfaction and being happy with that type of change, when you come to that stage, that's you are rid of yourself from I and mind. That's a sleeping stage, and looking at everything as one. The oneness, I think, is the stage coming out of I and mind. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, sister. Anyone else?
Sairam, I just thought of pointing out what Sister has just now said. No, that is what the sister Aruna has said is that a step, one step or higher, but that can't be the full. It's not fully done, because say I am what most of the people are just concerned about themselves or their family or their friends. So it's a little whining. So when we say we are not just we are improving, we are not just selfish, we are working for thinking others benefit also. Still, until and unless we really see the divine or Atma in the entire creation, in every living being, in their creation, to come to that, until we come to that stage, still there is some I and mine. I mean, what I say is, I can think good for all the Sai devotees. Or I can think good for all my nation or entire humanity. But still, that's expansion, of course. But until we see everything as divine, that is far away still. So just because we are a little bit less selfish, that doesn't mean we are, we reach the stage. Sai
Ram, brother. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts, please? So maybe I will say some few words. Very nice points were brought out by everyone. Very nice. I think, as long as we think I am being not selfless, and I is still persisting, as Brother Mali's input. Yeah, but I think it is at somewhere we have to start, and I think it's a nice start. And going back to Sister Kalyani's question, are we all dreaming together the same dream, or are we individual dreaming? The entire world is our projection. I think Swami has addressed this earlier on in Sandeha Nivarini, but it's always nice to go back. The reality is, even though all of us are now here, okay, the study circle, we are all talking, each of our understanding is completely different. And that is a reality in this world wherever we go. Even though all of us may be exposed to the same situation, we may all look at the same thing, but the angles in which we look and the impressions and the thoughts which come up in our own minds are completely different. So in that sense, all of our dreams are unique. They may be triggered by the same phenomenon outside, but our individual dreams are also unique. So though we are all sleeping maybe side by side and maybe dreaming almost similar things, our dreams are totally unique. Because then the question comes, when I awake, will the other person awake? It's another question. The thing is, each one is, because each one's experience is different. When each one is awake, that person is awake. Or that individual perception has gone away and that person has merged. It's just like the drops of ocean, which, the spray comes and there are so many drops. Each drop is things that is separate from the ocean. And it looks at the other drops and things, they are all different from it. But when that drop falls back into the ocean, the other drops still remain until they fall back into the ocean. But the drop which fell into the ocean will look at the rest of the drops and realize, oh, they are all drops from the same ocean. So the thing is, to that extent, our own experience is world is completely unique. Though we may be able to talk together, talk among ourselves, our understanding is completely different. So to that extent, each of our dream is unique to our own self. And when we awake by merging with the divine, because once we not identify with the body means, we only identify with the divine. And means we all talk about love also, but we cannot love everyone. That is the that is the it's not an irony. That is the hidden secret Even in the word Swami has uttered, love all servants. So everyone says we are loving everyone, we are serving everyone. And that Swami has said that, so at least people start helping others. But the thing is that I-ness has gone away, and they have not even started loving everyone, because until they identify themselves as the divine, they cannot love everyone. So the only person who has loved everyone is Swami, because he said, I am divine. So he was able to love everyone. But until we understand who we really are, that we are divine, we really cannot love everyone. That's the reality. But until that stage, we can use that to the extent possible. That's what I understand. So, sister, Kalyana, I don't know your question is answered or not, but yes, all of our dreams are unique, even though we may be dreaming side by side.
Sai Ram, thank you. I do have one more question about the sleep analogy. So, for example, if we are in deep sleep, we don't have I-ness or minus when we're in the deep sleep. So is a deep sleep state something similar to the enlightened state?
That's a very good question, sister. See, the deep sleep is similar to awakened state, but not the awakened state, because the reality in the deep sleep, so Sushupti, we are our eyes are closed, our senses are closed to the external environment, our mind is also at rest. However, in that state, we really don't know our reality. So that is missing. So there are two things. See, so that is a good explanation to know that we had to cut out all the external impulses. But at that stage, we also need to realize that we exist. That awareness should be fully present. So that is called Turiya. So Turiya Avastha is the next step. So as you can see from Ajagrada, you cut out the external and you go into the dream state. In the dream state, the mind is still active, but the senses, external senses are not active. Then we go into the state called Sushupti, where even the mind is at rest. But that is also not complete realization. For that, you have to go into what state called Turiya state, where you awake into the awareness that I am divine. So that is the final state where you identify with the divine. So the Sushupti is a transitional phase. We have cut out the external world, but we have not gone into the state where we identify with the Atman. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
So I think we can move on, sister. There's so much to discuss, I guess, but we'll move on. Sai.
Bhakta, then Swami, for whose sake do these, the manas, buddhi, chittam, and ahamkaram, do all this work? For no one's sake. They are engaged in their own work. The Atma observes everything, and its shadow, the jiva, which is deluded by the association of the body consciousness, plays this drama through all these acts.
Sai Ram, sister. I think Swami very nicely he has called our existence a shadow. Jiva, the separate existence, is what Swami calls a shadow of the Atman. So Jivatman is the shadow of the Atman. That's a new thing which Swami has introduced. And Swami also says, all that goes on, the mind, with all that they are doing, for whose sake? Swami said, no one's sake. For no one's sake, it goes on. So I think I will just stop here and let others can talk.
Sai Ram, I have a question in here. Without having the manas, buddhis, chittam, and we can even leave the ahangaram, but without having the manas, buddhi, and chittam, we cannot function if those three, forget about ahankaram, but the other three, manas, buddhi, and chittam, we need in order to function and to get to know the Atma. without having these three, how we would come to identify, or how we would get the understanding of the Atma, and how we will differentiate our ignorance, and how we can function without those. The Swami is telling that it's functioning for no one's sake. So am I missing something here to have the maybe the true connection? In my understanding, without having those three, Manas, Buddhi and Chittam, it's very hard to identify and differentiate the true thing, or where I am missing, where I am going, and that sort of things. I need those three. So someone can explain to that part. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, sister. Anyone would like to share your thoughts, please? I think about the passage as well as what sister is asking. If these are dropped, how can we function in this world?
Saira, let us take, even though it's not a good example, let us take Baba. Baba, we cannot say he has manas, he has buddhi, or he has sittam, but still he works. So there is a state, the jnanis also do the same thing. There is a state that in their Jivan Mukta, Swamis go different, but for example, a human being, in a Jivan Muktan state, and all these functioning is anybody, any jnani, say, take Ramana Maharshi, okay. So even in that Jivan Mukta state, he talked and he served people and he did so many things. He wrote books and he wrote books and he explained books and so many things goes on. So we will understand how it works only when we are in that state. Because we are not in that state, we cannot explain how important, how we can live without these things. No? So that is one thing. One thing that we are within time, space, and causation field. So it is difficult to understand until we transcend this and goes there and see. That's one thing. And also regarding this question and answer, I would like to say something. Shadow. For example, when we walk in real world, when we walk in the daylight, our shadow falls back or falls anyway on the ground. But if I am not there, the shadow will not be there. The shadow is there for I am there. But the shadow cannot do anything that I do. So similarly, the real Atma's shadow is Jiva. The Jiva is there because Atma is there. But this Jiva plays in this world. That's what I was saying, no? That the Jiva is the shadow. Jiva, which is deluded by the association of the body consciousness, because he thinks that I am the body, plays this drama, thinking, intelligence, vriddhis, involving vriddhis and so many things. So when we understand that we are just the shadow, if we truly and really and wholeheartedly we understand that we are just a shadow, then we are we are back to our original, we are going back the real state. So that's a Jivan Mukta state which Baba wants us, everybody, to come to that state. even Dasan explained earlier that that Sundaram Ayer's video, that Baba is saying that, okay, I came to raise everybody to the Atmic level, but everybody they are not satisfied with whatever they have in the world. So Baba knows everything. Baba is saying in that particular day, Baba was saying that, oh, I am worried. But Baba knows everything. Baba wants everything to gradually develop. And that's the purpose of Avatar Road. So, yeah, that's what I just want to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother.
Sairam, I would like to mention a couple of things regarding the, as Shiva said, that until and unless we reach that state, we cannot say without mind we can't function, all that just hypothetical, and any unknown thing we have a fear. So that's why even that whatever if something is unknown, we have a fear of that. But all the scriptures and jnanis and realized souls say so. That's the ideal and ultimate say. So that on point. The other thing is, Swami used to say, "Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshyo." So mind is the cause for bondage and liberation. So if you turn it towards world, it's bondage, and turn it towards God, it's liberation and all that. So this is saying that a thorn has to be removed by another by thorn. A thorn which prick your leg, our leg can be removed only by another thorn. So is a mind has to be removed with the help of the mind only. That kind of this thing. And one more thing I will say that regarding the shadow, only in Advaita philosophy, the Jivatma can be compared to a shadow. Because other Advaita or Saiva, other philosophy, according to the other philosophy, Jivatma or the individual soul is a real thing, like God. It has a eternal existence. But in Advaita philosophy, only it's only God, only divine exists. So Jivatma can be only shadow. That's why Swami used the phrase shadow there. Okay, Sairam.
So, Sairam, brother, it's a good explanation, whatever everyone gave here. So we all puppet in this world. So God is the wire puller. So you have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the result of your activities. So we have to do our duties, whatever prescribed, and God is the wire puller. We all like a puppet in this world. Thank you, Sairam, brother.
Sairam, brother. Anyone else would like to share anything? Maybe I will share some thoughts. So, sister, I think the question was, we need the mind. Without the mind, buddhi, and chittam and ahamkaram, we cannot function. You are right. See, here is what Swami is trying to tell is that understand that they are instruments you use is to live in this world. That's part of life. But thinking that you are that is the problem. So I will give this analogy. For example, you are cooking. So for cooking, you go pick up a knife, cut the vegetables, and then you put it away. That is separate from you. So you use that for a particular purpose, and then you put it away because that instrument has finished its use. You won't take all the implements which you use to cook along with you to sleep, thinking that they are extension of you. They are just instruments. They have to be used for a particular purpose, and once that is done, you just put it away without being upset, even being attached to it. The same way, our body, mind, buddhi, all of them have to be used for a particular purpose in this world, because we have embodied in this body of ours. So, and we are functioning, and the world has to go on. So do what this body has to do in this world to keep the world going. But don't think that you are this body. That is the whole purpose. Swami always uses this analogy of going to office. When we all go to office and we have our files, everything, we use them. But we don't consider them ours and we take them all home. We just leave them there and then we come home. But we use them there, and as long as you are in the office, they belong to you in a some sense because of the role which you are playing. And do use it accordingly, but come without being attached. But so that is an experience which all of us are familiar. So Swami says the same way. The mind, the body, even the family, everyone is given. It's like away from your original source, which is God. But you have come because you have to function, you use them. But don't be so attached that you can't let go. So that is because we identify that as extension, that we cannot just let go. That is where we think that we are the body. We think we really belong to the divine. We just use it and go. It's just like people on the stage playing a role. They fully well know that, when the screen closes, we are going to go back. Even the people who are playing a role, as our siblings, they all don't exist at that point in time, because we are fully conscious of the fact that we are not the role which we are playing. So even the makeup, we will just remove. They served a purpose. As long as they serve a purpose, they are. But they don't define us. They don't belong to us. They are not part of us. So I think that is the way we have to use. So Swami is basically telling us to develop that awareness that the mind is also an instrument. The buddhi is also an instrument. Just use it and put it away. It does. When you go to sleep, just don't take it. Go to sleep means when you go to rest in God, don't take them, because they are not you. They just serve a purpose as long as you exist. And that's my understanding. And on talking about the shadow, Swami always says, there's a tree and there's a shadow of a tree, and people try to climb the shadow of a tree. And sometimes the shadow moves this way, that way, and they're panic. They're thinking, I'm trying to climb the shadow. Why is the shadow moving? Because you are not really moving, walking the shadow. So Swami says, even if you try to move your shadow along the tree, that shadow will not be able to keep up with the tree when the tree moves. But if you go to the tree and climb the tree, your shadow will actually be climbing the shadow of the tree. So Swami says, always go to the tree and climb it. So it is the same thing with God. God is reflected in this world as shadow. The Jivatma, which is there, also a shadow of our real self. But we are trying to match both the shadows. Swami says, forget it. You climb the Lord, which is the tree. Your Jivatma, let it climb the tree. You as an individual, not even Jivatma, as Atman, climb the tree of divine. Then actually you will be climbing because the shadow will anyway there as long as we exist. So that's also another analogy of Swami, shadow which Swami has used. So I thought, so that is why sometimes we don't realize that we have to climb the tree to climb for our shadow to climb the shadow of the tree. This is the irony of this world, and we can't even believe that if we climb the tree, our shadow will be climbing the tree. So I thought I would just share that also. Saira.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you very much, Brother Aruno. It's a really good explanation. The manas, buddhi, and chittam, all these faculties, it has been gifted by the Lord, and it's an instrument. We have to use it wisely, and in order to get into the enlightened stage, we have to put it away once it's utilized for the goodness, and keep on moving to the enlightened stage. Thank you, Saira.
So, Sairam brother, can we explain about the shadow of Jiva? That the Jiva and the Paramatma is both same. Swami says the story about the birds, two birds I mentioned before too, sitting on the tree, and one bird is eating the fruit. That's a Jivatma. That other one just watching all the actions. Can you explain, elaborate that one, brother? Can you explain here that it's going to be connected here, or?
It's a bit different, but others may not have understanding. But because you have asked the question, I will just briefly comment. I'm sure it will come at some point in time, and we will all discuss. Yes, Swami says in this life of existence, there are two birds sitting side by side on a branch, and one is eating the fruits of its action, the other one is just watching it, and then both of them fly away. My understanding is that the bird which eats the actions is the Jivatma. The Paramatman is just a witness. That is our life. So, but the thing is, your question is, so how does this, is the shadow eating something? Is the question I guess you're asking. It seems as if it's eating. As long as it thinks that is the real, then it's a problem. But when the Paramatman flies away, the Jivatma also drops everything and flies away. So Swami basically wants us to be, even though we may be eating the fruits of our karma phalam, that is not the main purpose. The main purpose is when the Paramatman flies, we should be able to drop everything and fly. So Swami says every action which we perform will definitely result in a result. And Swami in Gitavan, Swami says you also have the right for it. But Swami says don't go after that. That's why Swami says Ma Paleshu, Swami says. That means don't go after that. Because don't go after that means don't get stuck with it. You may be, you are forced in this world to eat the fruits of your actions. But when you have to leave it, just leave it. So there should be some level of detachment to that. So that's why Swami says that shloka of again, but we are going back to Bhagavad Gita. There's a shloka, I think, number 47 in chapter 2 called Karmanyevadikarasya. Swami says only one thing: you just do the action. Don't wait for the result. Don't look for the result. Don't try to enjoy or you enjoy the fruit. In the sense, when you say enjoy the fruit, neither enjoy nor detest it, because that is part of the world. So that's my understanding. So it's a bit, we are just, I think it's a sort of tangential discussion. So I will stop here. But I hope
understood. Very good. Thank you.
Sairam brother, no. Is it the right way to put it? Looking at from a body, mind, intellect analogy, so mind is in the middle and it is the key or the tool for transformation. So if we turn our mind towards body or anything worldly, that becomes sorrow and all those. So if we turn the mind towards intellect, Atma, or immortal, godly things, then that's the transformation we are looking. Am I right?
Yes, brother, because turning towards the world is being awake to the world. Yes. Turning towards God is to be awake to the Atma.
Also, when we looked at the last paragraph, between wakened state and sleep state, body remains same and intellect remains same. It is the mind that goes to sleep, right? That's the difference between awakened state and sleep state, which also the mind, right? The difference.
Yes, here when Swami says mind, manas, the mind also sometimes it's used in multiple ways. The various functions of the mind are buddhi, chitta, mana, ahamkara. Various functions. The same manas actually acts as the buddhi, acts as the chitta, acts as the ahamkaram also. So it's all the functions C's from what I understand.
Thank you, Sairam.
Sister Kalyani, I think maybe you can read on. Is it the next chapter then? Oh, no, I
Yes.
don't think.
Bhakta. Greetings, Swami. Swami. Oh, you have come, is it? You didn't come for the Dasara, 9-day festival celebrating the victory of the goddess Durga over the demons. Bhakta. The number of bhaktas then would be large. I thought, and so I was afraid I will not be able to speak to you to my heart's content. Hence I came now, a few days prior to your birthday, so that with your blessings I could realize the ideal which you teach and have both bhakti and jnana born in my heart on the auspicious day of the celebration of your advent.
I think you could read the next slide also, sister.
Swami, good, very good intention indeed. But do you mean to say that bhakti and jnana will not be born in you on days other than my birthday? Is that your idea? Bhakta. No, that is not so. You come to this world on an auspicious day, at a holy moment, with an auspicious form, isn't it? My idea is that at least on such a day, I should establish in my heart your holy words and make it pure. The day is holy and the moment auspicious. Swami, fine. What is the Sandeha, the doubt you have today? Bhakta, I have come today determined to hear and put into practice your holy words, Swami. As the saying goes, even if you go to Kasi, you have Saniswara by your side. So I did not bring the demon of doubt with me today when I came, nor did that demon accompany me. It is all due to your grace.
Thank you very much, sister. So Swami, I think it's pretty clear, so I don't think I should spend any time, because Swami has clearly said, I think all of you know also. So I will just open it up for any discussion, any sharing of thoughts. Swami says, how should we celebrate Swami's birthday and so on, in the words of the Bhakta as well as Swami. So, I guess there's silence, so maybe I will just speak up a little bit, just to fill. I think Swami doesn't want us to wait for a particular day. Is it only on that day that you can develop bhakti and jnana? So of course the Bhakta says, Swami, but that day is auspicious, so I wanted to wait. Then Swami says, it's okay. Swami, but I think in his question itself, he has asked, do you think we have to wait for my birthday, or a calendar date to do that? But the disciple persists saying that Swami is an auspicious time, and I think Swami didn't say no to that. But I think that does not mean that we have to wait for a day. We should try. But with things which are auspicious days are more potent for us to work on it harder, I guess, to establish bhakti and jnana, Swami says. I think that's all I have to share. If anyone else would like to share something, please go ahead.
Sorry, I just don't understand that saying, even if you go to Kasi, you have Saniswara by your side. What is that?
So the thing is that it's just a popular adage, I guess. So, even if you go to God, the planetary influences don't let go. The difficulties come with you. The troubles will come with you. It's a common saying among people that, You have to be careful that the world will follow you even when you go to the presence of the divine. I think that's a lot for all of us. Wherever we go to the bhajan, we go even to Prashanthanalayam, we sit in front of Swami. The world doesn't let go of us. The worldly troubles, the worries, the fears, they come along even though we are with the Lord. So I think that's what, so he says, though that is the normal reality, that Bhakta is saying, oh Lord, because of your grace, that has not come with me this time. Because of your grace, I don't have any worries. I don't have any fears. I just want you. Tell me how I can, how can I practice your words? It means how can I follow you? Without already that other. So basically, this Bhakta seems to have reached a state where the world is not touching him anymore. The troubles, the worries, the fears are not bothering him anymore. So he doesn't need solution for any of that. Now he says, now the Lord, I am ready just to follow you. Just tell me and I will just follow you, whatever you ask me to do. I think that's what I understand from this sister. Anyone else would like to add? Please go ahead.
Brother, it is the Sanishan is compared to the doubt. Okay? It looks like that. Sanishan is compared to the doubt. So always we have doubt, no? Always until the doubt. You said one day that in the Ananya Bhakti that what is the doubt destroys. What's the Sanskrit word you said?
Samshayatma vinashyati.
Samya. Who are the doubter will get destroyed, no? So the always, the common weakness of aspirant is having doubt, one way or other a doubt. So the Bhakta is saying that I gave up idea of the demon of doubt. So I came full faith with you and ready to imbibe whatever you say. So yeah, that's the thing I want to share.
Sai Ram, brother. Anyone else would like to say something, please?
I have Sairam, I have taken, when you look at even if you go to Kasi, you have Saniswara by your side. I interpret it slightly differently. That may or may not be, the relevant to this one. I thought Kasi always mean to when you have the end of the life cycle, you always tend to go to Kasi to get the mukti. So even if you even if you are at the end of your life cycle, even if you are at the bed of death, you have still worldly desires by your side, even at the time to go to even if you finish your life cycle, you have still worldly desires by your side. That sort of interpretation, I got on this one, that means that, even at the moment of death, still we carry our worldly desires by our side, that should be changed, but that is our tendency in the worldly desire. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts? Okay, I think that's no other thought. So I think, see, if whatever desires we have, whatever we pray to God, we all do that only because we have doubts that, it may not be fulfilled. We may not get something. And that's why we go and ask. When we have total faith that God will give us everything, what is needed, what He gives is the best. We don't doubt any of that. we don't have any want, any need in this world. So the doubt, as soon as the doubt comes, there are many manifestations of doubt. It becomes worry, it becomes desire, it becomes craving, it becomes all sorts of things, because we clamor for various things, all because we doubt God in himself. We doubt that God is omnipresent. We doubt that God is omniscient. We doubt that he's omnipotent. When we have all these doubts, we cling to these small petty desires, petty worries, and so on. So I think we will move on to the next set of question and answers. I guess we will just read. Maybe we may not have much time to discuss today, but at least we can read and take home with those thoughts. Sairam, Sister Kalyani.
Swami, very good. Understand that when these doubts do not come of themselves, nor are entertained by you, then indeed the mind is pure. When these two happen, it can be called one-pointedness. When you have none, why should I remind you of doubts? Then tell me, what shall I speak to you about? Bhakta, Swami, tell me how we should generally conduct ourselves. What are the qualities that we should possess? Which type of subjects should we try to understand? To receive the divine grace and attain your holy presence, what acts should we perform? Please tell me the more important of these, the essential things, the chosen jewels.
Sairam, Swami is actually getting into something so profound. I guess in the next few sessions we will see them instructions what we should follow and so on. But here I think if you will confine to what Swami has said here, Swami is saying when we don't have these doubts, and either we don't, they don't exist, and we don't entertain them, then Swami says that is when the mind is pure. And only then we will have one-pointedness, one-pointed devotion to God. So then, we are not thinking about anything in this world, only of the Lord. So that's what I understand. So I will stop here, and if anyone else has something to say, please go ahead.
Sairam, so it is saying that one-pointedness comes when the doubts do not come or not entertained by us. So if there is no doubt, no doubt, then our mind is pure. So we can test. This is a testing tool to judge ourselves whether we are pure or not. We can see whether we have doubts coming up or we are taking up doubts. So for a devotee, there should not be any doubt. That's many people are saying that. So just I wanted to share that part on.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Sairam, thank you for your explanation on doubt, because I think, I always think, oh, well, I don't have any doubt. I don't doubt that Swami is God. But what you said is so true, that if you have any prayer or you're asking for something or depressed about something or anxious about something, even all those are a form of doubt, because you're doubting that Swami doesn't know what's right for you. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam, maybe in the next class we would explore a little bit about under what circumstances doubts can come, under various circumstances, under what circumstances we entertain those doubts. Maybe that part we can explore in the next class. Now it's 10:15, so thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, sister. I think it's some food for thought. I think we can all practice it. I think when we go to the, in front of Swami every day to pray, we can see ourselves. Do we have doubts? How are they coming up? I think that's an exercise we all can. Exercise we can practice and see and explore, and maybe that will give us ability to discuss next week. So I think it's time up. We can close with Samastaloka and Shanti prayer. Sai. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sai Ram, everyone.